What's up, fam? I got my first interview in the Art of series where I'm going to be interviewing someone who I really admire. Her name is Karrie Larson. She is the founder and CEO of Serving Sundays, which is doing really amazing work with these day retreats all throughout the San Francisco area. And it's been a really amazing opportunity for me to see her grow and be able to serve as well, doing sound healing, doing some photography and videography. And it's been amazing to see the team grow. And I think it's all thanks to Karrie's leadership and everything she's been able to accomplish here.
Thank you for having me, Joseph. So excited to be here and be on this side of things, and could not be where we are without Joseph. So this is so fun to collaborate in a totally new way.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Karrie, my first question for you is I know you just moved into this new place, and of course, you have an amazing relationship with Daniel, who's eating an amazing burger right now. It smells so good. But how's life?
Life is good. Yeah, I feel like, bigger picture, lots of movement. I would say, my friends and family hear me when they ask how I'm doing. I'm like, I'm in a tornado right now. But like bigger picture, when your life is transcending and when you're feeling this upward mobility and you can feel yourself leveling up. And at the same time, I recognize within myself, because part of self-love is like accepting when not everything is roses and butterflies and sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of a lot of change at the same time. So brand new job, where my tech job, Serving Sundays, we're hosting a lot more events more frequently, and then moved in with my partner into our dream apartment after 4 years of living on my own. So a lot of great changes, and at the same time, you can find yourself being a little overwhelmed in all of the change, but I think it's all necessary to like bring myself and Serving Sundays to the next level. It's all different pockets of like investing back into yourself and your growth.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're talking about having overwhelm, and I think that's what a lot of people go through. So what are some of the ways that you kind of handle the overwhelm? Because it sounds like you're doing so much already.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I remind myself when I'm in that state of overwhelm is like, this too shall pass. I know there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and like trying to find joy within that. When I'm feeling that stress, just even driving or being in an Uber or walking, like putting on a warm smile in your face just warms you from the inside out, and trying to find joy and laugh. Like, oh my gosh, I have so much happening. Like, this is so fun at the same time. Like, how grateful am I that I get to be in this state of busy? I've worked with coaches to help me with that. I don't think that was something that came naturally for me. So I'm a big advocate of getting outside help and resources. And then I also think just kind of moving into your heart center is something that I've been working on kind of the past 2 days. I've had a lot of messages about your heart center and bringing it into your heart. And when we're up here all the time, that's, I think, for me personally, when the overwhelm really takes over. But when I can bring it into here and remember the busy is happening because of this next phase and because of this compassion that I have for the world, like it makes it easier.
Yeah, I think that's so important to be able to like lean on your heart space. And I think that's what a lot of people might not experience. And I think for me, like it's been very important to do meditations and do breath work in order to kind of refocus my energy. So do you have any like rules of life or different habits that you use in order to make sure you're still having that joy and still living a life of gratitude?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying something different, because I think when I first stepped into my mindfulness journey, I was like, I would make these notes, and it was like, I'm going to journal every day. I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to go for a hot girl walk. And the next thing I know, I would get upset at myself at the end of the day. How can you not? You didn't do any of those things. And a lot of self-compassion is about like meeting yourself where you are. So I'm really trying this new thing where it's like, okay, what do I need more of in my life? And if it's, I need more motivation, then I'm going to do HIIT training that week 2 times. That's it.
Yeah.
If it's, I need more relaxation and restoration, I am going to do breath work 2 times that week. That's it. And that's what I commit to, especially when I'm in that state of overwhelm.
Yeah.
It's really easy to just suddenly do none of the things. So I think meeting myself where I am, I'm still a big advocate for journaling. I think I find some of my biggest ideas and I do a lot of discovery with that.
Hmm.
But it's what do I need? On Sunday, I'll be like, what do I need? What's missing right now? And what tools in my toolkit can I use to get there? So that's kind of been my rule of life. It's not your
Hmm.
typical, like, I do this and this and this. I'm just like, what do I need more of? And then
Yeah.
I do it twice that week. I think the other thing that isn't kind of your typical like rules of life is I remind myself often how much I can actually control in my
Mm.
life. I think in a different version of myself, I was always looking for external excuses
Yeah.
as to why I didn't do that thing or
Hmm.
why I wasn't going after that goal. It was always something else or someone
Hmm.
else. And I think just reminding myself, like, I control who I hang out with, I control who I follow, I control what food I put in my body, I control what time I go to bed. There are things outside of our
Yeah.
control for sure, but like when you realize how much control you really have over your life, it actually gives you so much power back.
Mm.
And that has been monumental for my mental health personally. And some people, it might be the opposite. Like, wow, like I control it and this is
Yeah.
overwhelming. But like, and that first hump was hard. But
Hmm.
now that I'm in it, I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling the best. Maybe I
Yeah.
should have a smoothie. Maybe not French
Mm.
fries right now, And, or I'm not like, I'm really disconnected with myself. Okay, well, I've also been going to an event every single night and
Yeah.
being very external facing. I need to go inward more. So just
Mm.
like remembering like you create your reality more than you realize has been a huge like rule
Yeah.
of life for me.
That's awesome. I think it's great because I think when you look up Serving Sundays and what it's all about, one of the main things that you talk about is having a deeper connection within yourself.
Mhm.
So it's kind of right on point with that. So, what are some ways that you can kind of have that deeper connection, like have that discernment, when you
Mhm.
are, say, you're going on a walk and you're able to really see what you're needing in that moment? Is there any specific way to do that?
Yeah. I think one of the first things is awareness. So many of us, I mean, especially I living in the Bay Area, I
Hmm.
know there might be people who don't live in the Bay Area who are listening to this, but any big city, really just living in this world right now,
Yeah.
there's so much going on. And it's
Hmm.
really easy for us to get on autopilot and just be like running on this hamster wheel,
Hmm.
going to work, making dinner, trying to work out, connect with
Yeah.
friends. Like you're just on this hamster wheel. You go to the same
Nonstop.
bar every weekend or whatever. And I think when you take a step outside of that,
Hmm.
that first step outside and that awareness moment of like, okay, I'm not where I want to be,
Hmm.
but I'm also not doing the things I kind of need to do to get there
Yeah.
and having the courage to make those changes.
Hmm.
That is hard, but you kind of have to spend time with yourself in order to create that space to have that awareness. I find that in this culture today, we have a lot of easy escapes, like
Mm.
escape into partying and drinking, escape into social media
Yeah.
easily, escape into binge watching Netflix. And
Hmm.
like it's very easy for us to get sucked into these
Yeah.
escapes. It takes a lot of courage to take a moment and go, instead of turning on Netflix tonight,
Hmm.
I'm going to listen to sound healing music on
Yeah.
Spotify. I'm going to find 5 journal questions and I'm just going
Hmm.
to answer them. And I did that personally through my 15 solo date challenge. So I took myself on 15 solo dates.
Yeah.
It's all on my TikTok if you ever want to watch them for inspiration. And I would journal during that
Yeah.
time just to like, who is Karrie? Like, what does she really
Mm.
want in this life? And what is she doing right now that isn't allowing those two to meet each other?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the relationship with yourself, the deeper you go with yourself,
Hmm.
the deeper you can go with others, the
Yeah.
more you can meet people who can go to
Hmm.
that depth. And then as a result of all of that, the deeper you are like connected to your overall life and your overall fulfillment. But if you're living here with yourself, you're only going to meet people who are here. You're
Mm.
only going to be able to have conversations that go here.
Yeah.
And you're really only going to be able to have a life that feels this shallow to you. It's
Yeah.
surface level. So it takes courage to go to the depths. But I feel like you're on this journey too. Like
Hmm.
the courage and the bravery is so worth it on the other side of it.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I love how you were talking about courage and you talked also about awareness. So
Mhm.
feel like those are really good values to live by. Just wondering if there's any specific values that you try and uphold in your life in order to continue moving forward, continue
Mm.
helping the world find healing.
Yeah. I think, the reality is everyone deserves to feel connected to
Mhm.
themselves and connected to their life. And I think when I think of my values in order to do that, like one, self care is not selfish.
Mm.
And I think we think self care is a lot of different buckets. It could be like putting on a facial, it could be like going and
Yeah.
doing exercise. But it's not selfish to take space with yourself. It's
Mm.
really, really not. And I find when I'm not doing that, I'm actually not showing up the best in my
Mhm.
relationship, in
Yeah.
my relationships with my family. And so I think just being honest with
Mhm.
the people in your life too. Hey,
Yeah.
the next couple of months, I might not go to events a lot. I might not be going out. Just know it has nothing to do with you. I just need some
Mhm.
more space and time to connect with myself on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because I think what we do is we naturally get in this pleasing pattern. Like,
Mhm.
so and so invited me to dinner. Oh, I haven't seen them in
Yeah.
3 weeks. I have to
Mhm.
go. You don't have to do anything. You can just let people know in your life, hey, this is where my focus is. And just know it has nothing to do with you. I love you so
Yeah.
much. I just need to take some time. And like
Mhm.
the people who are meant to be on this next version of yourself with you will respect that and love it
Mhm.
and maybe even be inspired by it.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I feel like that's kind of what I see you doing a lot of with Serving Sundays. You're
Mm.
able to help people kind of connect to themselves and take that time and building community. So, can you talk a little bit about how Serving Sundays kind of came about?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. First of all, I feel very blessed to say that I am like obsessed with my life purpose.
Mm.
And it's an obsession in that I just like wake up and I know when the hardships are happening, it's all because I'm learning something that's going to help me go to the next one and go to the next point
Hmm.
and grow. And when I, go to an event, I just feel spirit speaking
Yeah.
through me, like to talk to people. And I'm not the expert. I bring in
Mm.
the experts, and that's fun
Yeah.
too to be a super connector. But I think it really comes down to how we started. I kind of just had this idea. I was like, people have church and people have religious institutions, which I think are beautiful. And I think there's also a big bucket of people who that language doesn't make sense to them, or
Mm.
maybe religious affiliation just isn't for them and they feel that. But they deserve to also have something on Sunday that they go to, that they connect with themselves, they connect with others. If they feel like connecting with God, just not in a religious
Yeah.
affiliation or the universe or
Mm.
astrology, like whatever language helps them feel that fulfillment, every single person deserves to have that.
Hmm.
And so I thought to myself, well, what do people do who don't have that?
Yeah.
And I feel grateful that I do have that. I do go to church and I feel very connected to those messages. And I know I could bring people in my community there and they'd be like, oh, these messages don't make sense for me.
Hmm.
And that's okay. It's like this very non judgmental
Yeah.
space. So I actually got my family on about 40 weeks of Zoom calls on Sundays during COVID. And we would pick a topic, we would meditate together, we would answer journal questions. And I just saw how much closer we got as a family
Hmm.
because we were going past the surface level questions, past the
Yeah.
what's the weather today, who are you dating, like
Hmm.
how's work? And we were like, how do you feel about this specific thing? What
Wow.
was your journey with self love? And like
Mm.
to see us get connected that way, I was like, okay, there's some power in this formula that's kind of being formulated here. So yeah, then for my birthday, I was actually on Warriors dance team at the time, and it took me 5 years to make that team, and it was such a big goal and dream of mine. And I like in my head, I was like, I'm gonna try to be on that team for five
Yeah.
years,
Wow.
But then Serving Sundays just kept popping up, and I was
Mm.
having dreams, and I was thinking about it a lot. And I was like, you know what? It's my 29th
Yeah.
birthday. I'm gonna get everyone to a winery, and I'm just gonna try on this day retreat
Hmm.
format that I've been doing kind of with my family on Zoom. And after that, I will know, like, do I continue this warrior's journey or do I start this new thing?
Hmm.
And after I had it, it was like so crystal clear in my head. As much as I loved warriors and I still do, I was like, the world needs this. Like, we
Hmm.
need healing in a new way therapy is beautiful, and I work for a company that does online therapy, and they're a monster in the space, and I love that. And it's also sometimes not for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
how can people heal in community that's very welcoming and approachable? And
Hmm.
that's like really what we want to build.
Wow. That's
That
awesome to
was a
hear
long
that.
answer.
No, no, that's great.
Gave you the
Yeah.
full round.
No, I appreciate that. It's cool. Um, I wonder if there's any like, have there been any deep cuts in your life that have led to you wanting to pursue this with your family, or you wanting to pursue this and offer it for other people?
Hmm. Yeah, I think everyone goes through hurt in their life. I'm a product of divorced parents,
Hmm.
and my dad and mom, I grew up with them living in different states, and I've had my own healing journey with that. And, I love and I'm very grateful that our family is very connected, even though that's a very hard way to be raised, because I think I had my single mother, and gosh, she did the best
Yeah.
job raising us as a single mother, given everything she went through. And then I would come live with my dad in the summer, and I had two younger sisters who was
Hmm.
with him all the time. And so there was just dynamics that I think I've had to do a lot of healing on
Hmm.
myself. I also did grow up in a Catholic church, and I think churches are different everywhere, but for me, my personal experience, it felt very judgmental at
Hmm.
times. Like, here's a box and you have to be in this box, and if you're not in this box, like, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And I think that was a little jarring for me, because I was like, well, I believe in LGBTQ plus, and like, I
Hmm.
think everyone should. The messages were confusing to
Yeah.
me in my personal
Totally.
experience. I was like, we love everyone, but only if you're here.
Hmm.
And that was like, wait, what? So that was definitely a deep cut that I think I have done a lot of healing from. Um, yeah, and then I think just being a woman in America, we go through a lot. Men go through a lot too, and I think there have been different relationships and cheating that has happened in my life and things like that, that have left wounds of like distrust. and
Mm.
and when you have wounds of distrust, you kind of distrust a lot of things that you don't realize. And kind of what I was speaking about, like coming back to my heart, you're up here so much more. Every
Yeah.
guy you meet is going to do that to you. Every person
Yeah.
you see is going to do that to you, and you don't realize. So it takes a lot of like subconscious work. What is my subconscious doing that's
Mm.
running my life? And I think all those different variations of cuts, though, like, has led me to where I am. So I truly believe that God in the universe, like, gives you lessons to help you better the world if you allow yourself to see it that way.
Wow. That's awesome. If you had like an elevator pitch for what Serving
Mm,
Sundays is all about, what would you say?
great question. We're still working on this. No. I feel like it's changing, but it's like dynamic. But I would say in general,
Hmm.
we live in San Francisco. We are very busy. We're very like achievement focused. I want to create a community on Sundays that helps people disconnect from that for a moment. Like, put technology on pause, go inward. You're going to get a deep reset. Then you're going to be able to receive guidance that will either A, help you get to know yourself even better, or B, connect to this like next version of yourself that you're like going towards,
Mm.
right? And then through all of that, you're going to connect with really cool people. You're not just going to come in and like, should I say hi to that person? Like, we're going to help you connect with those people. We're going to
Mm.
give guided conversations. Like, you're going to leave the day feeling so much more open and
Yeah.
excited to go through the week. So, yeah, helping people disconnect from the noise, reconnect with themselves, and then meet like minded people all at the same time, meeting on Sundays. And I think, where we're going with this, there's so many different ways. We want to also help you connect more deeply with the people who are already in your life. So if you bring your
Hmm.
mom, you bring your best friends, it's
Yeah.
your friend's birthday, like, instead of happy hour, come to Serving Sundays. Like, do
Yeah.
something that's really nourishing for your relationship.
Yeah. I do really appreciate how you're creating a space where people can build community, get new relationships, and not have to go to like a bar or
Mhm.
something like that. So I think that's great. Are there any like lessons that you've learned in the last, was it 2 years of doing this?
Year and a half. Yeah.
Year and a half, about 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the big lessons that I've learned kind of two front. One, meeting people where they are. When I first started serving Sundays, I thought people wanted to disconnect from people as much as possible and like go inward and have more of a silent space with yourself. Well, you can still get that from serving Sundays. I, was hearing again and again, I want a way to meet people. Can you help me meet people more? And like, so we've really transformed our formula to be able to allow for that.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big lessons is, especially when you're starting a business, like you have this vision and you can't be married to it. You have to like meet people where they are, be able to receive the feedback, not take it personally, which as a very sensitive, like feeling person has been a big challenge for me. And I've really loved that challenge. And then like something like you and even I talked about, I really want people who are working serving Sundays to feel connected and create almost like a micro community within that community. So if you volunteer with us, if you teach with us, like that's where I want to go even further, is like, how can I connect people even more? How can I make sure like healers in the community, like I met them at Serving Sundays and then we went and did something cool together or whatever. Like that makes me just filled with joy. So those two things are probably some of the big lessons that we're continuing to lean into.
That's awesome. Is there a big dream that you have for Serving Sundays?
Lots of big dreams. I would say like the first one is expansion. We're really trying to build this with scalability in mind. Can we be like the Sunday wellness community that is like core power? Can we be in every city in America? Like if I'm thinking huge dream, I would love that, like the soul cycle, but of healing techniques.
Yeah.
I think the other dream is corporate. Can we bring these healing techniques into corporate? You get off on a Thursday night and there's a sound bath and community connection group happening with people in your workplace. That's where people need it the most, but they might not be finding the time to like go out of their way. And then I would say the third is families. I mean, as I kind of alluded to in the beginning, what I saw, how I've seen my family transform when we would meet like that, like, can I bring that to other families? It's very normal and common that people are living in all different places of their family. And they're like, I haven't talked to so-and-so in 3 months. Like if you have a reoccurring Zoom meeting once a month where you get together and you have a Joseph or a Karrie leading this session, like that could do a lot of powerful healing for the world too. So we are dreaming bigger and bigger every day. Lots of work to do, but I mean, when you feel connected to the thing that wakes you up with so much joy and excitement every day, like it's just so worth it. And I feel like everyone deserves to feel this. You deserve to feel so excited about your life. And if you're not, it's okay, but just know like you absolutely can.
That's pretty deep. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you find your purpose then?
Yeah, I think finding my purpose. I am a pretty spiritual person, even if outwardly I'm not. I'm looking back on my life. I look at dance and I look at some of the things that were given to me, and it's like it all makes sense. Like I almost need a dance to learn perseverance and courage and professionalism and confidence to be able to do this. So how I found it, there's not like a special formula. I think it's just paying attention to the cues in your life, paying attention to the signs that you're getting from the universe and surrendering. One of my very favorite books is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Highly recommend. Daniel, my partner, has it tattooed on his arm. So that's how you know it's good. And it just is basically like surrender to where you're flowing.
Wow.
A lot of times it's really hard for us as humans to just like go where we're naturally going. If you're really interested in dancing, like that's by design. My sister, for instance, is obsessed with being a nurse and she's an incredible nurse. I look at blood and I faint. That's by design. Like God in the universe gave her those gifts for a reason and gave her those dreams for a reason. So just pay attention to the cues and don't force yourself to be in a box that maybe actually isn't calling to you, because that's when I think purpose takes place. It's like shutting out the clutter and just like what lights my soul on fire.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's great.
Thank you.
Last one. So I definitely admire the work that you're doing. And of course, your partner Daniel is also doing really amazing work too. So yeah, how do you guys like support each other in this life and loving the world and helping the world find healing? What do you think are some tips for a good relationship like that? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of things come to mind. I feel very grateful that I have a partner who is so supportive of my dreams and reminds me of them often, and meets me when I'm like struggling too. You know, it's not this like toxic positivity, like it's gonna all be like you're fine, like cheer up. It's like, what's happening?
Mm,
Tell me more about that.
yeah.
And also, I think just having a growth mindset. It's really hard to be in a relationship when one or both have these egos that, like, we all have an ego, by the way. Like, I have an ego, he has an ego, we have egos. But when you can't allow them to come down to grow as a relationship, you know, we both want to have like a lifelong, deep, committed, purpose driven relationship. And that takes a lot of work because it's two people coming with their deep cuts and coming with their perception of the world and their perception of what should be. And you kind of have to just like find the balance of what can I just step back from for a moment and like listen to your needs. And so I think growth mindset is the biggest thing, because we both want to grow for each other,
Yeah.
and looking at our relationship as like a third entity, you know? So I think when you're finding your person, or if you already have, it's like, I think we have this idea that relationships are like all roses and sunshine and beauty and all of that. And there are big pockets of that. You want to have big pockets of that. But when the conflict does happen and challenges arise, like, it's okay. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. And we actually see a relationship coach, which
Wow.
has been life-changing for even our personal development. You know, it's like I said, I came from a divorced family. Like, we both have had family dynamics that we're bringing in and we're breaking down. And I think leaning on other people for support sooner than later is like the best thing you can do.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to leave us with?
I think my last, or what I'll leave us with, I think one thing I didn't really touch on with Serving Sundays is like who are we targeting, and who, you know, do we want to see more people of in the community? I think it's anyone who has like the seed planted for growth and mindfulness and exploring a deeper connection with yourself. And because I think a lot of communities, which it's beautiful, are, you know, even yoga. Like, people hear yoga and they're like, oh, I'm not good at that. Or they hear meditation and they're like, oh, I'm not good at that. So that community isn't for me. And it's not about that. It's actually about just people who have the seed planted. I know I want to get to know myself better. I know I am like looking for courage or perseverance to do this thing in my life. And I just like want a group of people to help me break that down. That's who we're looking for more of. So if that's you, we'd love to have you come to an event, come meet me, come meet Joseph, come hang out with us. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am just so proud of all your growth too, and our friendship, and how we've just grown with each other in these different phases of our life. And just trust yourself. Trust that you are given the gifts and the interests that you have for a reason. And life is about piecing it together. You know, we don't have to know what's next. We just get to enjoy where we are now and like give our 100% of what our 100% is that day. And before you know it, the puzzle will just like be forming in front of your eyes.
Nice.
So
got a little mic drop moments in here. But yeah, Karrie, I want to appreciate you so much for taking the time. Of course, you know, you got family stuff going on, so it really means a lot that we're able to squeeze something in. And I love how you're very like, you are peaceful, you are mindful, but I feel like you're also really working hard and you're courageous and you're always hustling towards helping people meet each other, and you're meeting them where they're at, and you're helping people find healing. You're letting them appreciate being in the city, being in the Bay Area, and just appreciate themselves a lot more too. So
Hmm.
really grateful for your time.
Grateful for you too.
All right, y'all. Sending you a big old peace sign. Lots of love. Appreciate you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.